Oh, do you want me to print you another outline?
Sure.
Okay,
I'm mostly
great.
just impressed at
I wrote some notes.
your margins. Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna put this on.
I should start charging people for the referrals. It's terrible. Because I know so many people throughout the years. I refer you to it. Sometimes, yeah, well, when it's...
It has Joel's name on it. But
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Should I start with Father B as well?
I kind of missed the beginning, so I don't know how that sounds. Pretend. I made a mistake recently. I ordered this wireless cable.
Yeah,
Or-
I'm about to.
It's this cable. If you remember, this was on clarinet. So, and I thought I'm ordering the longer one than 3 feet. I thought 6 feet probably would be even better because if, like, let's say I want to, put this on the stuff. Well, yeah, instead of just 6 inches. I know the joke. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go into that. One of my friends made a joke. I know it's a funny mistake. It's kind of hilarious too. But anyway, so but because I have this cable for longer, like because I can use it on bass drum. This is system for four. And I'm just, but that's not good. It's because
This just does it.
Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Sing unto God a new song.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is so good to be together tonight to bring in Shabbat. I'm Rabbi Leah Fein. I'm joined on the bima by our Cantorial Soloist Ian Simpson. Susan Rosenstein is our music director tonight. We are so lucky that Leo and Ava are here as our musicians. Thank you so much for being here with us. We are going to begin our service tonight with candle lighting, and we are going to invite up our bat mitzvah, Molly, and her family to light candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
Mazel tov to Molly, to your family and friends who are here. And also, I just want to give a shout out. Molly's friends from Ermis Religious School are also here today. And so it's so wonderful to see our community celebrating together. We just lit 2 candles for Shabbat, and in only 48 hours, we are going to be lighting 2 more candles for Hanukkah, one the Shamash and the other representing the very first night of Hanukkah. So to get us in the spirit of the holiday, bring in some of those Hanukkah miracles, I want to invite you to begin our service by thinking about a big or small miracle that you have experienced in the past week. And then turn to the people around you, introduce yourselves, say Shabbat Shalom, and share your miracles. There will be so much more time for introductions, for schmoozing during our oneg. We are going to now open up our Siddur, our prayer book. Zamru Ladonai is on page 16.
Zamru Ladonai bechinu Bechino v'kol zimna. Try that with me. Zamru l'Adonai bechino, bechino v'kol zimna. Zamru l'Adonai bechino. בכינור וכל זמרה זמרו לאדוני בכינור וכל זמרה.
Our tradition imagines us not just bringing in Shabbat alone, but that there are angels who come and are present with us during this holy day every single week. We welcome in those Shabbat angels with Shalom Aleichem on page 24.
שלום לכם מלאכי שרים, מלאכי אלוהים, מלך מלכי המלאכים, קדוש ברוך הוא. שלום לכם מלאכי שרים, מלאכי אלוהים, מלך מלכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברוכים לשלום, מלאכי שלום, מלאכי הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברצוני לשלום, מלאכי שלום, מלאכי אלוהים, מלך מלכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברצוני לשלום, מלאכי שלום, מלאכי אלוהים, מלך מלכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי שלום, מלאכי אלוהים, מלך מלכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. יאללה לה יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה לה
We don't just welcome in angels for Shabbat, we also welcome in the Shabbat Queen, the Shabbat Bride with Lecha Dodi on page 20. We'll be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And for that final verse, we will rise and turn around to face the entrance to welcome in the Shabbat Bride, page 20.
בני שבת לקבלה לחדותי לקראת כלה יללה 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 בני שבת לקבלה שמור וזכור ודיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד שמו אחד שמול תפארת ולתהילה לחדותי לקראת כלה יללה 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 בני שבת לקבלה לחדותי לקראת כלה יללה 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 בני שבת לקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם לסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לחדותי לקראת כלה יללה 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 בני שבת לקבלה ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה
Remain standing for Baruch Hu, our call to prayer on page 28. You may be seated. We'll read together the prayer in the English at the top of page 31. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. In a moment, we will say the Shema together on page 34. And I was just saying to Ian right before our service tonight, Ian is with my 2-year-old, Asher, every single Friday morning for Shabbat at the ECC, and Asher will not let me sing any songs with him at home. He loves to talk about the songs and will not let me sing any of the songs that he knows with him. The one exception to this is not a song, but it's the Shema. We have been singing the Shema to him every single night of his life when we put him to bed. And so just this week, he started singing along with us when we sang the Shema to him. And it's felt like this really remarkable moment when I didn't know what he's so little, I didn't know what he had been taking in, but to notice that he was listening and is now able to repeat in and of itself was amazing. But what actually felt amazing when he started singing the Shema with us this week was how slowly he was singing it. For a 2.5-year-old to be singing the Shema, he is so focused on every single one of those 6 words, saying them so deliberately, so slowly, really trying to get it right. And singing along with him slowly and deliberately, I found myself having a very different experience of saying those words with him, of really taking in what they mean, of being present in that moment and focused in a different kind of way in that moment. So when we rise now and say the Shema together on page 34, I want to invite us to maybe, if you know the words in Hebrew, focus on the words in Hebrew. If you want to look at the words in English, focus on those 6 words in the English, but try to be deliberate and focused when you say each of these words. We'll rise for the Shema on page 34.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vayed.
You may be seated. We continue with the words of Hafta on page 36. These words come straight from the Torah and speak of the importance of passing down our traditions from generation to generation and teaching each generation the different mitzvot and rituals of our people. And in no way is that more on display in our community than through the ritual of B'nai Mitzvah. So we are fortunate that tonight Molly will come up to the bima and will lead us in Ve'ahavta on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות להם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Yasher Koach, and thank you to Molly for leading us in Ve'ahavta. We continue our service with Mi Chamocha on page 40, and these are the words that our people sang upon redemption from slavery in Egypt. And in this week's Parsha is the first time that our people even start getting down to Egypt. And that's the way the Torah talks about Egypt, as going down. We see Egypt as quite literally a narrow place. And so redemption, and so Mi Chamocha invites us to think about freedom as a place then of openness, as a place of elevation, as a place where we are uplifted. Mi Chamocha is on page 40.
Adonai bi kamucha tedar bakodesh noratilu usefele bi kamucha bailim Adonai bi kamucha tedar bakodesh noratilu Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. Necha bukei ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam zeili anu ve'amiru Adonai imloch le'olam ba'ed. Who is like you? Adonai, who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai.
Our sages 2,000 years ago in the Talmud said that you are not supposed to pray in a room without windows. And I think our next prayer, Hashivenu, speaks to one of those reasons why. If we look out of our stained glass windows right now, we see how dark it is in this night. We are able to feel that darkness, even if the room that we are in is well lit, even if the room we are in feels warm, we can still see what is going on outside. And our next prayer, Hashkivenu, is written about just that vulnerability of the outside. And we are asking God for protection, especially at night, especially when we can see that it is dark. We are grateful for the protection we experience in this moment and pray that that protection is extended beyond our walls. Hashkivenu is on page 42.
Shalom, shalom, ve'ha'amidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha.
We rise now as the ark is open for the Amidah, beginning on page 46.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agitei latecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah, Rav le'Hoshia. Mashiva ruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chaim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofech cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umidom melach, Melech meimim, מחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
We continue with our own silent prayers and meditations, using the words on the page or the words in your heart. We'll remain standing, and then when the ark is closed, you can be seated.
Share a song with you this evening. The words are on page 53. It's from one of our sages, Ya'anan Tzacha. God, where could I go to find you? I think the real hook of this poem is in the last two lines. Uvtseiti likratcha, likrati mitzaticha. When I reach out to you, I find that you've been reaching for me. I think it says a lot about our relationship with God. It says a lot about our relationship with each other, a lot about what it's all about. It goes like this.
נעלה ונעלם ואנה לא אמצעך כבודך מלא עולם דרשתי קרבתך בכל ליבי קראתיך
My very first job that I ever had was working in my grandparents' women's wear clothing store in Century City. It was called M. Cole, if any of you even remember it. I adored being in their store, even as a small child. It was full of beautifully vibrant clothes, accessories, jewelry, furniture, all curated by my grandparents and my great aunt, who, and I'm not just saying this because I'm biased, have impeccable taste. For me, walking into that store was like being transported somewhere aspirational. I appreciated the art of it all, the beauty of it, the creativity and fresh ideas baked into each piece that I could touch and feel and sometimes even wear. My grandparents' clothing store was such a significant part of my childhood and teenage years that any story in the Torah that so much as mentions clothing automatically captivates me, which is why I love this week's Parsha, Vayeshev. Vayeshev is the very beginning of the Joseph narrative cycle. And interestingly, Joseph's long and winding story is entirely driven by clothing. In fact, every single plot point in this week's Parsha and in Joseph's story more generally that we're going to be reading in the upcoming weeks, every single plot point is focused around an article of clothing. And each one of these pieces of clothing doesn't just move Joseph's story forward, but they move the entire narrative of the Jewish people forward. All clothing. The first article of clothing in Joseph's story is the most famous, his ketonet pasim, his ornamented, colorful coat. Joseph is his father, Jacob's favorite child, and his brother's least favorite sibling, which is not surprising since our Parsha opens with Joseph excitedly recounting multiple dreams in which all of his family members bow down to him. But that special coat made matters so much worse between Joseph and his 11 brothers. Because to the brothers, the coat was an overt, in-your-face sign of their father's love and favoritism for Joseph. And so the coat makes the brothers hate Joseph even more, which makes sense. Though, of course, not to the same extent. How often have we found ourselves in very similar situations, jealous of what someone is wearing, what that means about who they are and what they have, a sign of our own insecurities about what we are not and what we do not have. But even worse than being the object of jealousy and resentment, this coat put a literal target on Joseph's back. One day when the brothers were out pasturing the sheep, Jacob sends Joseph to go check on them and report back. Joseph, no surprise, is wearing his special ornamented, colorful coat, and so even from a mile away, the brothers can see Joseph coming. And seeing him gives them enough time to hatch a plan. They decide to strip Joseph of his coat and sell him to a caravan of traders who are passing through on their way to Egypt. This is how Joseph gets to Egypt, which is how Jacob's entire family moves to Egypt, which is how the Israelites then prosper and multiply in Egypt, only to then become enslaved in Egypt, and then become free and be redeemed in the Exodus. Our entire narrative as a people throughout the Torah coming from one garment. After selling Joseph, the brothers do more with the coat, the symbol of Joseph and his status as the favorite child in the family. They dip the coat into animal blood and they bring it to their father Jacob. And of course, Jacob immediately recognizes the coat and is horrified by the blood. He jumps to quick false conclusion. He assumes that the blood on the coat is Joseph's blood. He assumes that Joseph was killed by a wild animal. His favorite son, his beloved son of his favorite wife, he believes has died. Jacob sobs and tears his own clothes, an act of mourning and of grief that Jews still observe today. The coat told a harsh truth about Joseph's place in the family as his father's favorite, but the coat story ends with a sadistic lie orchestrated by the brothers to fool their father. The clothing that once was the vehicle of brutal honesty becomes the vehicle of brutal deception. And clothing continues to drive Joseph's story in many fascinating ways while he's in Egypt. Like with the coat, Joseph is dressed and stripped and redressed over and over and over again. And each time, the clothing reveals either a truth or a lie or some shift in identity. And each time, Joseph's clothing shapes the course of his life. It's as if the Torah is calling to us from the words to pay attention to this motif, to this repetition. The Torah is trying to tell us that it is leading us, the reader, somewhere through these clothes. There is something to this pattern. If we were to go through every example of clothing in Joseph's story, you would all be here until Hanukkah, so I'm going to spare you that and jump to the very end of Joseph's story, which comes decades after the episode with the coat. By this time, Joseph is a powerful official serving as Pharaoh's right-hand man, and so he dresses the part. He dresses like an Egyptian. There's a famine in Canaan, where he's from, and so his brothers are forced to go to Egypt to get food for their family. When the brothers arrive in Egypt, they are brought before one of Pharaoh's officials, and they beg him for food. We, as the readers, know that this official is Joseph, but the brothers don't recognize him as Joseph. Instead, they see his clothing and assume him to be a stranger, a random, powerful Egyptian who holds their fate in his hands. So Joseph, still anonymous to his brothers, tests them to find out if they have changed over all these years, if they've become men who now care for their brothers and their father, men who no longer exhibit the selfish and jealous behavior of their youth. The brothers do pass Joseph's test, and he is moved so deeply by this. He weeps and reveals his true identity to them. Not only does he end up giving them the food that they originally came for, but he also gives each of his brothers a gift, a change of clothing. Now, it's the brothers who are stripped and then redressed. But the clothing Joseph gives is not in service of a lie like it was when his brothers used the coat to deceive their father, and it's not in service of family strife like it was when Jacob gifted Joseph the coat to begin with. Rather, this clothing from Joseph is an olive branch. It's a sign of love, a sign of forgiveness. Clothing has been an instrument in Joseph's story all along, and in this final scene with his brothers in Egypt, it's an instrument of repair, an instrument of shalom. When his brothers stood before him hungry and afraid, Joseph faced a choice. He could use his power to continue the destructive cycle of his family, but instead, he chose to change the direction of their relationship entirely. And so significantly, he took the exact same medium that was once used against him to fracture his family, and he turns it instead into a gesture of care and protection. Of course, more often than not, It isn't our clothing that's our instrument for positive or constructive change. And in our Parsha and the Parshiot that follow about Joseph, clothing is that shiny thing that it was for me in my grandparents' store so many years ago. That compelling item, that material motif that told a much bigger story. Clothing in our Parsha is a stand-in for the things we already possess. Choice with our language, our actions, and our resources. The things that can be used to divide and to hurt, or instead can become instruments of dignity and care. We know too well that these choices from the Torah aren't just Joseph's, they are, of course, ours. When we reconnect with an estranged friend after years of distance, when we're asked to care for someone who has hurt us, when we're confronted with a conversation that we have been avoiding. In those moments, and in any moment of choice, our Parsha invites us to choose whether we want to live our lives like Jacob and the brothers did in their earlier years, using what we have to sow division and to sow lies, or to choose to live like Joseph later in his life, using what we have to bring peace and to bring repair. When the choice comes, because we know it always does, may we use what is in our hands not to repeat the mistakes of our past, but to move forward clothed in kindness, in generosity, and in peace. Shabbat Shalom. We transition now in our service to the Mishaberach, our prayer for healing and our prayer for a refuah shlema, for a full and speedy recovery, maybe for ourselves, maybe for someone in our lives, someone in our community, or anybody around the world who is in need. From our community tonight, we are praying for a Mishaberach, for Shana Rachel, Bat Yitzchak Aryeh, Leah Hinda, Cynthia Allen, Bonnie Chiswick, Chaim Dovid, Dahlia Bat Faranji, Harvey Fein, Juliet Gottfried, Hannah Harar, Karina Wallen Harar, Cindy Jacobson, Jilla Meshkanian, Chris Mintle, Leonore Motley, Stephen Richland, Quincy Rose, Robert Bob David Rudnick, Ansel Sloan, Shraga Stern, Lois Tartar, Deborah Wallen, Dawn Weiss, Phyllis Kramer-Wolf, and Manusher Yehobian. I'll ask you to keep in mind also anybody in your life who is in need of healing as we join together for Misha Berach on page 253.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
We rise now for Hatikva on page 374, our song of hope, our prayer of hope. You can be seated. We have so many exciting things happening at the temple coming up, especially with Hanukkah. There is going to be a concert in 2 nights for the first night of Hanukkah. We hope you will join us for that. The Karsh Center is also doing a toy drive distribution event next Wednesday from 2:30 to 6:30 p.m. at our Resnick Campus in Koreatown. We hope that you're able to come out and to help and volunteer. And if you are able to do that, you can email the Karsh Center. And there are also bins on all of our campuses to donate any new toys to kids who are in need. I also, in addition to thanking everybody for being part of our service tonight, I also want to give a huge thank you to our security team, facilities, events, sound, AV. We are so, so fortunate that you help make this a beautiful and safe Shabbat experience for our community. Thank you. We rise again for Aleinu on page 282 as the ark is open.
לשבח לדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל הבונם, ואנחנו משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי מלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר וחיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You can be seated. In a moment, we will say the words of Mourner's Kaddish, and we've started a new tradition here where anybody who wants to say a few words, 1 or 2 sentences about a loved one who they are remembering tonight, You are welcome as I come around with the microphone to stand to share their name, their relationship to you, and a few words about the person you are remembering, so that all of us can learn more about who they were, who they are to you, a little bit more about their legacy, and so we can all be here to support one another.
Hello, everyone. I'm Matt Silverstone. My grandmother, Marlene Silverstone, passed away on Monday, so I'm mourning her. My wife, Melissa Silverstone, we just got married 3 weeks ago, so there's been a lot of simchas, but thinking of my grandma Marlene tonight, she bought me my talit when I was a bar mitzvah, and that just came to mind, so I wanted to share that.
Thank you. Mazel tov, and may her memory be blessing.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Brian Birkin. Today is the 1-year anniversary of my mom. I miss her. I miss talking to her. I miss hearing her tell me how great I am and my family. And that's it.
Thank you to those who shared. From our community, we are remembering tonight those who have passed during this past month. Hal Dom, David Frischling, Florence Gordon, Jack Kriegsman, Charles Levin, Leah Brewer Lowinger, David Rand, Joan Seidel, Marlene Silverstone, Henry Sobel, Gerald Steiner, and Morris Mickey Weissman, and the yard sites from our community from the past week. Isaac Alex, Ruth Becker, Jerry Bendit, Irving Berman, Inger Bronston, Julius Brown, Marcia Birkin, Molly Birkin, Deborah Chernoff, Eugene Klaus, Sheldon Cohen, Michael Coleman, Priscilla Crombie, Harry Davis, John Dollinger, Hart Dryman, Helen Dresser, Marilyn Ehrman, Sam Enton, Maruja Espinoza, Manly Burton Feinstein, Evelyn Fern, Elena Ferrari, Harvey Foreman, Harriet Freund, Linda Friedman, Ulrich First, Meyer Gerson, Abraham Goldberg, May Goldberg, Ethel Goldmark, Herbert Goldmark, Florence Goldstein, Mildred Gordon, Corinne Gorelick, Howard Gottfried, Marion Grad, William Gray, Nathan Greenberg, Philip Grosser, Menorah Hacker, Benjamin Hallamb, Naomi Leah Howard, David Warren Hudson, Bruce Jacobson, Max Jaffe, Tom Judah, Lottie Khan, Madeline Carnes, Estelle King, Newton King, Herman Klein, Sally Kleinbard, Julian Kleinman, Estelle Clevin, Dorothy Koenig, Flora Kohan Bashri, Max Cole, Ralph Kopolov, Elise Kosman, Jerome Kunik, Gladys Liebner, Tilly Lubelski, Jules Lustig, Maurice McGillnick, Anna Malin, Herman Markowitz, Alvin Miller, Sylvia Miller, Joe Mitchell, Evelyn Nathanson, Robert Newmeyer, Dorothy Neuger, Reyes Oljan, George Pines, Eliyahu Pirnazar, Dorothy Plager, Molly Polyp, Harry Prince, George Rains, Harriet Reed, Sophia Reichwald, Mayor Romick, Seymour Rosenthal, Elizabeth Rubenstein, Dominic Severin, Gitti Savis, Shirley Schwartz, Clara Siegel, Morton Seidel, Goldie Schaefer, Carl Shapiro, William Scher, David Stewart Scher, Dorothy Slifkin, Elaine Small, Evelyn Smason, Jeanette Stein, Penelope Summers, Benjamin Touch, Martin Webster, Gary Weiner, David Yomtob, Gerald Young, Rose Zaks, and Millie Zlotov. Are there any additional names tonight of those who are being remembered? May their memories forever be a blessing. Zichronam livracha. We rise now for Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yigadal v'kadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Israel. Ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'laumei amaya. Yibarach v'ishtabach v'pa'ar v'tromam v'naseh. V'tadar v'talev v'talal shmei dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechamata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Israel ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Israel ve'imru amen.
Amen.
You can put your arms around each other for the words of Oseh shalom.
Say shalom b'moma. Say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'imru. Say shalom b'moma.
conclude our service with Kiddush and Motzi, we are going to invite up Molly and her family to lead us in Kiddush and Motzi.
All right, we raise our glasses.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu v'chaita v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim, l'chaim,
L'chaim.
l'chaim.
All right, Molly and Elise, you are going to lift up the challah. You are each going to take a side of the challah. This is an ancient Jewish tradition. First, we are going to say the blessing, and then you are both going to pull as hard as you can. All right, we'll say the blessing together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Oh, Shabbat Shalom, everyone! Shabbat Shalom, Mazel Tov!